Before we start, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, if you can drop a dime or two into Ko-fi account. Our goal is to get out one issue each week. Legion of Superheroes, Rise Issue 1, Day Trip. Earth, the Grand Hall of the United Planets. Matter-Eater Lad and Brainiac 5 walk through the hall, with Brainiac 5 appearing nervous. Matter-Eater Lad, you got this, Brainy. You're a 7th level intellect, right? Brainiac 5, 12th level. Matter-Eater Lad, see, that's better. All you have to do is give the report about what happened on Thanagar to the UP Assembly, about how a Legion mission for our newest members turned into the exact opposite of that. Brainiac 5 glares at his friend. Brainiac 5, and someone died. Matter-Eater Lad might not want to lead with that. The two young men enter the assembly hall, and all eyes fall on them. The alien United Planets leader, Cherbeing Kindle, greets the two Legion members. Cherbeing Kindle, Assembly, I see our guests have arrived. Quell Dox of Kolu and Tenzil Kem of Bismal. Matter-Eater Lad, I'm not officially here. I just came along to support my friend. Matter-Eater Lad takes a step back, leaving Brainiac 5 alone. Brainiac 5 glances at his holographic data pad, takes a deep breath, and starts to talk. Brainiac 5, Cherbeing, United Planets Assembly, 5 days, 6 hours, 3 minutes, and 4.7 seconds ago, the Legion long-range shuttle, the Jon Stewart, entered the Thanagarian system. Matter-Eater Lad giggles to himself. Jon Stewart enters the Thanagarian system, ha ha. Brainiac 5 gives his friend an annoyed glance. The scene changes to the inside of the Legion ship cockpit, with Bouncing Boy piloting, Brainiac 5 co-piloting, and Shadow Lass standing between them. Bouncing Boy, entering the Thanagarian system. Shadow Lass, not bad for a place that spent centuries waging war with just about everybody in the quadrant. Brainiac 5. Many thank their warlike mentality due to the belief in vigilance for true safety. A hologram shows an incoming transmission. Shadow Lass, and here we go. Shadow Lass activates the hologram. Thanagar, Legion ship, identify yourself and your mission. Shadow Lass, this is the Legion ship Jon Stewart under the command of Tasmia Mauler. We're here to help with relief efforts for the solar storm that hit you a day ago. Your ambassador asked for help and was supposed to notify you. Thanagar, we were notified, but it's procedure to contact all incoming ships in our system and verify your. The line goes dead. Brainiac 5, that's odd. Brainiac 5 taps on a few holographic buttons on the console. Brainiac 5. Seems the connection dropped on their end. The solar storm might be the cause, but until we know, I think we should be cautious. Shadow Lass nods. Shadow Lass, slow down a bit, Chuck, while I tell the rookies what's going on. Bouncing Boy, you got it, your darkness. Captain. Shadow Lass, you're dark. Never mind. Shadow Lass heads back to the passenger area and looks at the new members, reminiscing about her first mission. In the back is Nightshot, descendant of heroes and villains, brooding with his uniform hood up. In the middle seat is Zypher, a tentacled lavender alien, trying not to look nervous. In front of them is MYSTK, a pink-haired girl lost in her own world of music. Across from her is Amaze, an androgynous redhead with Olympian heritage, looking ready for action. In the seat closest to Shadow Lass is Kid Mega, asleep and taking up both seats. Shadow Lass, Legionnaires, listen up. We're in the system. We'll be making planetfall soon. Make sure you do your pre-mission prep and test your comms. There might be some solar storm issues. Nightshot, I thought we did pre-mission prep before we left Earth. Shadow Lass, that's code for using the bathroom. Kid Mega, I only do that like once a month. MYSTK, permissions to use my powers to unhear that, Shadow Lady. Shadow Lass, it's Shadow Lass. Zypher's skin pattern changes, activating the universal translator. Zypher, is something wrong? The air currents coming off you are telling me something is wrong. Amaze, don't be afraid, friend. This is just a disaster relief mission. Duty is duty. MYSTK, you said duty, ha ha ha. Shadow Lass rolls her eyes and returns to the cockpit. Shadow Lass, were we ever that young? Brainiac 5, technically, you're only 2 years older than Kid Mega, Nightshot, and MYSTK, and 1 year older than Amaze. Bouncing Boy, not that I was listening over the ship's intercom, but duty. Bouncing Boy giggles to himself, as the ship comes to a stop in orbit around Thanagar. Brainiac 5 looks worried. Brainiac 5, I wasn't aware Thanagar had an active global defense shield. Shadow Lass, if they do, it shouldn't be activated now with a global disaster going on. Something's wrong. Bouncing Boy sees a launch plume from the surface of the planet. Bouncing Boy, what's that? Brainiac 5 scans the plume. Brainiac 5, an ancient ground-to-orbit ballistic nuclear missile. Shadow Lass, Chuck. Bouncing Boy, on it. The ship starts to move as multiple missiles launch. A satellite-mounted railgun fires at the ship as they dodge the missiles. The ship barely dodges the attack. Bouncing Boy, incoming railgun fire. We need to do something. Brainiac 5, trying, but the satellite and the missiles are using an ancient comm system and code. It could take a minute or two to figure out such an archaic system. I'm sad to say. Shadow Lass, Brainiac, keep working on that. Chuck, keep us from being hit as best you can. It's time for the rookies to earn their rings. Shadow Lass heads back to the passenger area. The Legionnaire rookies are looking out their windows. Nightshot, I think that was a Thanagarian 20-megaton warhead. Zypher, is that bad? Amaze, Only if that ancient piece of junk hits us. Shadow Lass interrupts the rookies. Shadow Lass, listen up, people. Thanagar has decided we're the enemy, and we're not sure why. We need to get out there, take out their ability to kill us, and find a way to let them know we're the good guys. Kid Mega, and how do we do that? Shadow Lass, Suddenly, a 2-ton railgun rips through the ship, and chaos ensues as everyone is sucked into space. At a distance of 450,000 miles from the surface of Thanagar, a Legion ship is torn in half. Shadow Lass watches as the rookies she helped train are sucked into space, but she isn't. She stands in the wreckage of the rear of the ship in an air bubble created by Zypher, who is next to her. Zypher, I'm sorry. Shadow Lass, calm down, panicking isn't going to help us now, Zypher. Zypher, but the others? Shadow Lass, the space suits in their rings should have activated as soon as the ship was hit. Still, it's good to know your aerokinesis can negate the effects of a hull breach. Zypher, thank you. Brainiac 5 comes on the comms through the rings. Brainiac 5. I was told I should give the good news first. The cockpit sealed as soon as we were hit, and if we can get the two halves back together, the self-repair systems should have us back to 85% capability in 2.5 hours. Shadow Lass, and the bad news. Brainiac 5. Because we can't maneuver, we're, as they say on Earth, sitting ducks for the missiles and railguns. Shadow Lass, Griff. Kid Mega, I need you to deal with the missiles. The rest of you, take out the railguns. Also, if something went wrong and you're dead, I'm sorry. In space, Kid Mega, Night Shot, MYSTK, and Amaze float in a group. Amaze, I think the gods heard my complaint. MYSTK, you think? Night Shot, less talking and more keeping our friends from being atomized. Kid Mega, that's a whole lot of incoming missiles, and I'm not exactly Daxamite, or Amaze fast. Amaze, true, but you don't need to be. Do what you do best, Lord Bower. Kid Mega nods and flies off towards the incoming missiles. Night Shot looks at MYSTK. Night Shot, any chance you can snap your fingers and turn those railgun satellites into chocolate pudding? MYSTK, 1, maybe 2, and then I'll be as useless as a guy with a bow in space. Night Shot activates his high-tech goggles, zooms in on a railgun satellite, and activates his bow with magnetic string, then turns on his power, creating a bow of black crystallized energy. Night Shot, long shot, boomer. The arrow flies from the bow, traveling hundreds of miles in under a second. It hits the satellite, burrows into it, and explodes, knocking it from orbit. Amaze. I doubt if my Aunt Artemis could have done better. MYSTK, yeah. I have no idea who you're talking about, but that was cool. A railgun round flies towards the trio. MYSTK waves her hands at it, turning it into dozens of balloon animals. Amaze flies towards another satellite, and uses her flight ring to stay stable. She starts rotating it super fast, causing it to tumble about. The satellite fires thrusters to stabilize, but the thrusters overheat, and the satellite shuts down. Kid Mega flies towards a missile, grabs the missile hull, and aims it at another missile near a group of others. The missile's proximity detonator goes off, and the missile and 6 others like it explode. Kid Mega grabs another missile, and another 2 missiles lock onto him. Kid Mega, this might actually. 3 20-megaton nuclear missiles explode with Kid Mega at ground zero. Back in the cockpit, Bouncing Boy and Brainiac 5 have a conversation. Bouncing Boy, holy griff, Kid Mega, Brainiac 5, what about him? Bouncing Boy, he just got hit by 3 nukes. Brainiac 5, if that happened to Mon-El, would you be worried? Bouncing Boy, no. But his Mon-El. Brainiac, and his Kid Mega. Kid Mega flies out of the explosion unharmed and unscathed. Kid Mega, I almost felt that one. Bouncing Boy looks at Brainiac 5, as his friend connects some of the ship's console wiring to his head data ports. Bouncing Boy, I knew he was tough, but didn't think he was Daxamite tough. Brainiac 5, I tested him, and save for psionics and magic, I couldn't find anything to breach his damage threshold. That includes lead, promethium, and kryptonite. Now do me a favor and see if the maneuvering thrusters on this part of the ship have reactivated. Shadow Lass and Zypher sit inside the other half of the ship. Shadow Lass, we need to get this half to the other half. Zypher, I think maybe. I'm not too sure. Shadow Lass, look, I know you're nervous, I've been there. But being a member of the Legion means pushing away the fear and doing whatever you can do to help. Zypher, I can try to use the air in the shield as jets to move the ship. But it won't be very fast, and once it's all gone, I can't do anything to stop the ship. Shadow Lass, that's a start. Zypher focuses her power, gathering the air and making it flow around the ship, releasing it in tiny puffs to move and maneuver the ship. Shadow Lass, good job. In space, Amaze, Night Shot, and MYSTK sit on a satellite now made of chocolate. Amaze, she really did it. Night Shot, yeah, but it's chocolate pudding though. MYSTK, keep it up, and I'll turn you into chocolate pudding boy. Amaze, as fun as that would be to see, you need to rest. We need you back at full power as soon as possible. Kid Mega flies up to the satellite. Kid Mega, okay, remind me to be nice to MYSTK. Night Shot, dude, you're nice to everyone. That's like your thing. That, your obsession with 21st century Earth trivia, and raiding the kitchen. Kid Mega, I'm not always nice. Am I? Amaze, annoyingly so sometimes. MYSTK, no talkie, headache. Kid Mega sits next to MYSTK, takes off a piece of chocolate, and starts eating it. Kid Mega, time to feed the beast. Amaze, the beast. Night Shot, that's what he calls that bioreactor he has instead of a stomach. Kid Mega, Amaze is right, we need to be at full strength, just in case Thanagar decides to up their weapons to something more dangerous than relics. Amaze, of course I'm right. I was trained in the War Academy of New Olympia. Night Shot, dude, don't get her started on the whole Daughter of Hermes, the legacy of Themyscira. Kid Mega, says the man who literally is the heir to several of the greatest legacies of the heroic age. Night Shot, hey, I didn't ask for all that. As far as I'm concerned, being a brandy is hard enough without that extra historical crap. As the group talks, a bright light from space hits them. MYSTK, of great, now I'm going to die with a headache. The light dims, and it's the Legion ship, barely held together and pressurized. Shadow Lass, sorry about the wait, Thanagar is throwing off some kind of old scrambling tech. Amaze, well met, Commander. Shadow Lass, is everyone okay? MYSTK, yeah, although Amaze still has a stick up her ass. Amaze, silence. Imp. MYSTK stands with the help of Kid Mega. MYSTK, you know that's a racial slur where I come from. Amaze, it is. I'm sorry. MYSTK, nah, just kidding. The 4 young Legionnaires head towards the ship. They enter through the airlock. Night shot. I thought we lost you, Zypher. Zypher. I tried to grab everyone, but I couldn't and... Shadow Lass. Zypher did great. She not only kept her and me from being sucked into space, but she was instrumental in getting both halves of the ship back together. Zypher, thank you. Kid Mega, cool. But I have a question. Why is Thanagar trying to murder us? Night shot, good question. Brainiac 5 enters the passenger area. Brainiac 5, indeed. Sadly, we won't know until we get down to the surface. Which might be impossible for most of us in our vessel's current condition. Shadow Lass. MYSTK. Do you have enough magic to get us down to the surface? MYSTK. Maybe a few of us. Going to be a while before I can do anything big. Brainiac 5. Bouncing Boy can stay with the ship. This close to something still functioning like a friendly weapons platform, there is a 95% chance the ship will not be fired upon. Shadow Lass. That'll work. If MYSTK can get the rest of us down. Brainiac 5, you, herself, Amaze, and Night Shot. I can use my force field to survive entry, and Kid Mega can survive entry on his own. Kid Mega nods. MYSTK, at this range, it might be a bit of a rough landing, and I might pass out. Brainiac 5. I'm inputting a clearing in the Thanagarian capital into your ring's holo emitters. Try to get as close to that as possible. Shadow Lass. MYSTK. MYSTK looks at the image her ring is producing and focuses on it despite her fatigue and pounding headache. MYSTK. Yeah, I think I can get us there. Shadow Lass. Then let's go. Kid Mega and Brainiac exit the airlock and fly towards the planet. Night Shot checks his utility belt, and Amaze says a quick prayer to the god of her ancestors. Zypher tries not to vomit, and MYSTK focuses her powers. Shadow Lass. If anything goes wrong, protect each other, and long live the Legion. MYSTK snaps her fingers, and she and her friends vanish. On the surface of Thanagar, near a clearing, a puff of smoke appears. MYSTK and her friends land. MYSTK collapses, and the others seem staggered by the teleportation. Shadow Lass rises slowly. Shadow Lass. Legion ground team, John Stewart, we've made it. Shadow Lass looks around and sees that she and her charges are surrounded by zombie cyborg Hawk soldiers wearing the wings and armor of the fabled Hawk people of Thanagar.